Let me tell you something, there's nothing quite like sipping your morning coffee and realizing your neighborhood's self-appointed queen is about to make your life a living hell, all because of a metal gate. You think I'm exaggerating? Trust me, I wish I was. One morning I looked out my window and saw Karen. Yeah, that. Karen BMW blonde bob clipboard always in hand, screaming at me through my own driveway gate, her phone waving around like she was conducting a hostile orchestra, shouting, "You have no right to lock us out of our neighborhood. This is public property. I'm calling the police right now." Meanwhile, her teenage daughter was having an honest-to-God panic attack in the car, and Karen, bless her heart, threatened to sue me for everything I'm worth, all before 8 a.m. But let me back up a sec. My name's Andrew. I'm a software engineer, mostly introverted, definitely not the kind of guy who picks fights with neighbors. 2 years ago, I moved into this pretty little house at the end of a cul-de-sac. Backyard was huge. There was this private driveway with a metal security gate, the kind that makes you feel like you've made it. You know, the property line was crystal clear on the survey. The gate was installed by the previous owner, and the realtor made it sound like Fort Knox for suburbanites. At first, life was good. The neighbors were civil. HOA wasn't breathing down my neck. I minded my own business, kept my lawn trimmed, painted the trim when they asked, paid the monthly dues. I didn't even think much about the gate. The previous owner had left it open, so I did too. Then about 6 months in, I noticed cars, not just one or two, but a lot of cars, using my driveway as a shortcut to the main road. The first time I saw it, I figured folks were confused about property lines, so I caught a couple neighbors as they zipped through, explained it was private, and most apologized. But not everyone. Enter Karen. She'd lived here forever, so she'd have you believe. Ran the HOA board like a medieval court. Her daughter Ashley was always in tow, usually red-faced, mumbling apologies for her mom. But Karen, she had opinions about everything, about everyone, about me. First confrontation. Tuesday morning coffee still hot in my hand. Karen and Ashley pull up park right in front of my garage. Karen gets out, eyes flashing like she's auditioning for Real Housewives. "Andrew, we need to talk about this gate situation. Ashley's been late to school twice. You know, this shortcut saves us 5 minutes. The previous owner never had a problem. I tried to be nice, explained the survey, explained I'd like to keep the gate closed for security because, hey, my job's remote. I've got expensive gear in my home office." Karen, of course, was having none of it. She went full "I speak for the trees" mode, said I was being selfish, antisocial, warned me she'd bring it up at the next HOA meeting and that my actions were damaging community values. Her daughter, meanwhile, looked like she wanted to evaporate. What happened next? Karen started working the neighborhood like a political campaign. I'd see her arms waving, voices rising, pointing at my house. Some folks nodded along, others ducked away. Nobody likes drama, right? A couple weeks later, I get a formal letter. "Please attend the next HOA meeting regarding a community access issue," signed by none other than Karen herself. I spent that weekend knee-deep in deed surveys. Property law even called the title company. Everything was in order. My driveway, my gate, my headache. The HOA meeting Thursday night community center was packed. Karen had done her homework, stacked the deck, got the turnout she wanted. She painted a picture of hardship and lost tradition. This driveway has been a convenience for over a decade. Closing it off hurts families. I kept it calm. Explained my rights, offered to talk about reasonable accommodations, but made it clear unrestricted access wasn't happening unless someone wanted to pay for it. The debate got heated, but then out of nowhere my neighbor David stood up. Guy's a straight shooter, doesn't say much, but when he speaks, people listen. He backed me up, said property rights matter, nobody should have to let the whole neighborhood use their land for free. He even brought up the extra traffic and the littering near my gate. That was the first time I realized I wasn't as alone as I thought. Still, the meeting ended with Karen vowing to investigate easements and encouraging neighbors to document inconvenience incidents. So now I'm the neighborhood villain, apparently. Next month, I started locking the gate during work hours. Seemed fair, right? But Karen, Oh, she took that as a declaration of war. She started parking her BMW in front of my gate during rush hour, making a scene, checking her watch, sighing dramatically, all for an audience. She took photos, tracked times, kept a spreadsheet of how many victims I'd created by forcing people to use the main street. One Friday, I'm in a video call with a client. Karen lays on her horn out front for 5 minutes straight. I come out, she's screaming about Ashley's college interview, how my selfishness is ruining her future. I asked her to use the main road like everyone else. She doubled down, started honking louder. Ashley got out, walked away, clearly mortified. That was the moment I realized we weren't dealing with a rational dispute. This was harassment. That weekend, I lawyered up. Attorneys said I was 100% within my rights, advised me to install security cameras, document everything, and don't engage. Monday, I had a full camera system put in, intercom, remote gate opener, the works. Karen's reaction. She showed up that night with a petition signed by a few neighbors demanding I remove the cameras, called them an eyesore. I told her politely but firmly that the cameras were staying. After that, Karen went nuclear. She'd sit outside my gate glaring or bring a few supporters for solidarity visits. She started a private Facebook group trash-talking me, posted pictures of my house, said I was killing the neighborhood spirit. David, my unofficial ally, tipped me off about it. Apparently, some people thought I was running a surveillance state. The weirdest part, she dragged Ashley along for all of it. That poor kid always looked so uncomfortable, you just wanted to tell her to hang in there, it gets better. The solidarity protests got more intense, sometimes half a dozen people out there taking pictures, arguing about community rights. I started to wonder if I should just move. Then one early November morning, Karen banged on my gate, clipboard in hand, two neighbors beside her, and started shouting about prescriptive easement. She'd Googled enough legalese to sound dangerous, claimed the community's longtime use created some permanent right. I told her politely with my lawyer's letter in hand that she was mistaken. She called me a liar, threatened court. Ashley, God bless her, finally snapped, told her mom she was embarrassed, begged to go home. I'll never forget the look on that kid's face, the mix of embarrassment and exhaustion. I offered a compromise, a written agreement for limited access, clear hours, liability waiver. Karen, she acted like I'd suggested burning down the clubhouse. No contracts, no legal documents. That's not how we do things here. She stormed off, vowing to call city officials, kept waving that harassment narrative like a battle flag. Sure enough, city planning called me later that day, said they'd gotten complaints about my gate and neighborhood traffic patterns. I sent over my permits and surveys. The official on the phone sounded almost amused. Private property is private property, she said. And honestly, mediation might be a better option here. I agreed. Karen refused. Shocker. Things got more desperate. Karen showed up at all hours, called city hotlines, started a media campaign. She hung a giant banner on my gate, community access is a right, not a privilege. She even formed something called the Neighborhood Access Coalition. Then the local TV news came calling. I declined an interview, but Karen sure didn't. Suddenly, my security cameras were all over the news. Karen was on air painting herself as Joan of Arc fighting the evil tech bro. Neighbors started rubbernecking strangers parked by my house, snapping photos. I felt like a sideshow exhibit. Finally, it all blew up on a cold December Saturday. I was heading out to buy Christmas gifts, found Karen's BMW parked smack in front of my gate, blocking me and live streaming the protest on Facebook. I asked her to move. She laughed, dared me to call the cops, said, "The police will always side with a real community member, not some troublemaker." So I called the police. 15 minutes later, 3 more cars showed up. Karen had called in her backup. The officer arrived to find a literal crowd around my driveway. I gave him my paperwork. He listened, then told Karen in front of everyone she was trespassing, needed to move or she'd be cited for harassment. Karen absolutely lost it. She screamed at the officer, at me, at her daughter, accused everyone of ruining her life. Ashley finally snapped, yelled, "I'm done. I don't want any part of this," and walked off. The crowd scattered. The cop stayed to make a report, told me I'd handled it right, and if Karen came back to call again. Within days, everything changed. Neighbors came by, apologized for Karen's behavior, said they supported me. The HOA board dropped the issue, sent me a letter confirming my rights, and notably, Karen's name was nowhere on it. Her Facebook group vanished, her supporters melted away. I saw Ashley walking by a few weeks later. She gave me a shy wave. Poor kid. I hope she knows none of this was her fault. And just like that, peace returned. The gate stays closed. The cameras are still rolling. Folks respect my space, and I learned that standing your ground calmly, legally with receipts can actually work. I learned the value of good neighbors like David. I learned that some folks just won't be reasoned with. But if you stick to your principles, the truth finds a way out. You know what I mean? So here's my question. Where do you draw the line between community values and basic property rights? Was I in the wrong for protecting what's legally mine, or did Karen just lose the plot? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me your own neighborhood stories. And hey, subscribe for more real-life drama, because trust me, you can't make this stuff up.